I promised yesterday, today I'll be covering the new World Heavyweight Champion, the best in the world, CM Punk, Mr. Phil Brooks. I'm very happy that happened. I hope a lot of you are. Sucks for Jay. Should throw a fit about it, by the way. I'm not a big fan of him, Big J, throwing a fit like that. You a grown man, you 40, throwing a fit like that. Hopefully that's a work, dog. Anyway, not going to throw shade too much. I do like Jay, I do. I like Jay a lot, but my man don't need to be throwing a fit like a baby. So, what can I say? From the Indies with ROH to his a little bit of a small tenure in TNA to the WWE version of ECW to eventually being part of the WWE roster, all the way up till he left the company in 2014 after the Shield became popular. Then he spent a couple years or so in the MMA. Didn't really do all that well from what I've heard. I saw some of his fights. They weren't entirely great. And Mr. Brooks, if you end up seeing this, I don't mean this in a mean way. I don't think you were built for that. And I think you knew that as well. I don't mean that in a mean way. Just saying. Man, that's a weird sound. All the way back to returning to pro wrestling in AEW. 2 years of pretty good wrestling and controversy. All the way to now, to the beginning of Survivor Series, or at the end of Survivor Series 2022, to all the way to here at Saturday's main event, to winning the new Heavy Worldweight Championship. What can I say about him, man? A man that's very outspoken, who's helped create careers. Even the ones that, let's be honest, as much as he doesn't like those folks, he'll let you know he's the reason why a lot of these guys' careers have started. Especially a certain Monday Night Messiah. I doubt he'll be watching this. He's too busy in a bear costume recovering from his arm injury. I don't know what exactly happened. I feel bad. I hope you recover well. I hope you come back. I do. I'm just not a fan of your work. I don't like your character, but I do hope you recover, and I hope your fans will be able to see Mr. Rollins. I am a fan of your wife, though. But anyway, point being, the first time I ever heard of CM Punk was from my two cousins, my older cousin Joshua and my younger cousin Noah. Love you both, by the way. Thank you for doing that. And they always just, either it was about John Cena or it was about CM Punk. Either person, over and over again. It's John Cena, no, it's CM Punk. And I never really understood why at first. It just seemed like some average guy who had tape on his hands with X's on them and didn't really do all that much. And I didn't really watch any wrestling yet at that time, and I was still playing the games, and I was spamming super kicks with Shawn Michaels. That's about it. That's literally about it. That was my experience back then as a kid. I mean, I knew of wrestling. I knew of Hulk Hogan. I knew of Ric Flair, but I didn't really know what they did. You know, I didn't really watch any of their matches. And unfortunately, it would be like that for quite a while. And I'll put my hat back on because my hair's looking like crap. I think years had passed by, and ironically enough, I had a very similar attitude to CM Punk when he ended up leaving. kind of became a little bit more rebellious, a little bit more outspoken, maybe a little bit more emotional, and burned out. I was saddened by my dad trying to help me and telling me that wrestling is fake. I realized that it's predetermined. A lot of what they go through is real. It hurts. It's not fun. And I also understand that these guys go day to day trying to make it. And from what I understand from history, he also didn't necessarily just do it to try to make it, but he also tried to make changes in the wrestling world. And he had intentionally to make it easier for other folks. However, I feel like, of course, some of the ego got in the way, some of the thoughts of a young man thinking, I've got to be on top in order to make this change. And now, I realize, looking at his stuff made me realize, it's like, you don't have to be the top guy. You don't have to be the man of the moment in order to make something out of your life, to leave something. Being able to see CM Punk return, I mean, like, I hadn't heard that name in years at that point. I wasn't into wrestling for that long, and I won't lie. What really kind of brought me back in, and I mentioned in my Cody Rhodes video, was Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. But also what kind of start a little bit of interest into it is hearing CM Punk return to WWE. I'm like, wait a minute. He left? I didn't even know that. I did not even know that. I'm thinking, oh, he's just like John Cena. He ain't going to be leaving. He ain't going to be leaving at all. Why in the world would he be leaving? And then after finding out more and more about what all happened and how AEW came about and how Cody ended up showing up at WrestleMania 38, I believe. I'll let this car go by. I'm going to have to turn around somewhere. I'm going to have to edit this out in the video. I'm going to have to go by somewhere to go pick up some work shirts real quick, but I'm going to have to turn around real quick, but for now, honestly, I had no idea that all this stuff was going on. And mind you, this is before the Vince McMahon allegations. This is all before that we're going to find out that Vince McMahon is a pretty scummy human being behind the scenes just as much as he played the character. And I didn't even know who Vince McMahon was. Matter of fact, through this whole situation, learning about CM Punk and what he went through, and ironically, I'm passing a Pepsi truck right now. That's hilarious. Through the situation that I learned from CM Punk, I learned about many other wrestlers. I actually learned about AJ Styles. I learned about Samoa Joe. I learned about his wife, AJ Lee, who has returned, which is absolutely amazing. I'm very happy she has came back to the world of wrestling. Looks like she hasn't missed a step either, which is great. I haven't really watched much of her stuff, but from what I can tell from the match I saw with a little bits and pieces of the CM Punk, AJ Lee versus Rollins and his wife, man, it was spectacular. She's a spectacular wrestler. Honestly, just being able to watch his story for the first time helped me process how to be an adult a little bit. How to figure out who I am and not just be what everybody else wants me to be. Not just look for independence, but also look to change things, look to be better, even when you've made regrets and mistakes of the past. And mind you, not everybody's going to agree with everything I say, and they're going to have a negative experience because they have a bad taste in their mouth. If you're an AEW guy and you saw all the nonsense he was spouting about in AEW, you're probably going to be like, well, I didn't like it that he spent time trashing the company he was a part of. But mind you, this was also probably still dealing with the fact that a lot of what was going on with AEW was a similar situation that happened with WCW, I think. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, and CM Punk was just complaining for complaining, saying, I don't know. I mean, he was also hitting his early 40s. It's a mix of different things. But I'm going to say this much about CM Punk. I am glad I'm being able to witness his return, being able to witness what he is becoming and what he has decided to be. And I hope I am able to see more of him before he retires. Heck. Let's see here. I'm going to try to get him first here. Make sure I don't run into this guy. I am like parking terribly. But anyway, I will be right back. Me. Well, I'm back. Just had to go pick up some shirts real quick for work. And I've got a new camera angle I'm going to try out for a little bit. See if it does any better. Sorry if it's at a weird angle. Be careful here. Where was I? Honestly, CM Punk has brought me back into thinking that there is some realism in wrestling. There is some realism in it. And especially, like, I've got to admit, I've really got to admit, I am very impressed with his repertoire. He's not the best wrestler, technically. Especially with how old he is. He's not the best wrestler, but he takes everything and just does really well with it. Personally, for me, if I could, I would do his style if I was a wrestler. I would do his style of not only mixing in some martial arts here and there, which really brought me in, especially his matches with Drew, really brought me back into wrestling as well. Not just Cody and Romans, but being able to enjoy good psychology and good ring work made me really enjoy the matches, the feud that they had with Drew McIntyre. That was amazing. The story, everything, and then eventually coming up to the Bad Blood match. Absolutely wild, man. Absolutely wild. And we literally, it's been over a year since we had that. And we're now at the point where CM Punk is finally got a world title on him. After 2 or 3 years? I think. Because I think before he left AEW, I think he ended up having a championship, or he lost a championship. I don't know. I don't watch AEW. I might watch it at some point, but I may just watch some of the older stuff first to kind of catch up. I know Chris Jericho's in there. That's another guy I recognize, but I didn't really, no offense, care for. But he was cool. He was a decent guy. The Walls of Jericho was a pretty painful looking move, to be honest. And the fact that, I will say this, and this is more so, and Seth Rollins fans, I don't say this to be mean, I just say this because I think his wrestling's stale, and it doesn't help that CM Punk, being an older fella, not being able to do some of the stuff he was able to do back then. Arguably, both of them actually, due to the, I think it's the ACL tour he had, Seth Rollins had. He's not able to, they're not able to do some of the stuff that they're supposed to do. And I remember seeing that one Monday Night Raw match, and this wasn't the cage match, by the way, in Madison Square Garden. This is the one, it was just a regular match. It was GTS's all over the places. All over the place. It sucked. Curb stomps everywhere. It sucks. I hate that move. I think it's a stupid excuse of a move, and Rollins needs to find a better move. I'm not saying he needs to do flippy dippy stuff, but if he could be like KJ Muto from Japan and update his style to fit where he's at, he would be able to do better. Heck, matter of fact, maybe less acrobatics from him
And maybe go for more of a brawler style, like with Stone Cold when he had that injury with the Owens. But this isn't about a critical. Matter of fact, I might make a video about my misgivings against Rollins. I think he's a genuinely talented on the mic as well, and I think he's stale. But anyway, I'm not going to give it all of that. And, okay, one other thing, I do want to say this. I feel like a lot of the time he's just trying to be CM Punk without being CM Punk. And he doesn't want to admit that. Oh, crap. I am, like, stuck in the middle of traffic. I can't do anything. That's wonderful. Great. Let me see if actually, I can. There's enough space here. Cool. Apologies. Can't really help it. Can't really help it. Traffic's terrible around here. When you leave the high school, the traffic around here just sucks. It's a red light, so I can't really do anything. Can't really move up. I'm gonna move up a little bit. Oh, never mind. Go ahead. Just realize I'm not. I know, it's red. Okay, I can't be moving here. Can't really do anything here. Okay, now it's green. Yeah, I'm not exiting over here ever again. So, I'll probably edit that out. I might not. I don't care. It's just so weird how CM Punk's story is kind of wrapped in Rollins' story a little bit. Especially with the fact that Rollins' favorite wrestler was him. And mind you, I'm going to put some of the blame on CM Punk for the reason why there's a lot of hatred. But there's also, it's kind of your fault at the same time when you're holding a grudge for this long. For this long. And it's kind of stupid. You're a grown man, you in your 40s, early 40s, and you're still throwing a fit about a guy who told you no when you were 16 to learn how to wrestle. That's stupid. You're a grown man. Get over yourself. Anyway, I think, honestly, from what I can say about CM Punk, and everybody's saying it's about CM Punk, he's one of the realest guys in the business. And if I could, I'd like to meet him. I would genuinely, I would want him to be my fourth wrestler I'd meet. Genuinely. It would be hard to come by because it's like now he's the champion and it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get, that kind of attention. But I would definitely like to meet him. I would definitely like to have a conversation with him. Small one, whether it's just a few minutes or something. Maybe even make a clip with him. I don't know. But that would be awesome. That would be great to meet him and just ask him a few things and see where he's at in life and see what he's going to be able to, well, maybe not necessarily do with a championship, but maybe just more so ask, what do you want to do with this championship? What do you want to do moving forward? Do you want to just keep having title defenses? Do you want to keep doing all this different stuff? Or do you want to also make something of it? You know what I mean? And a lot of the time, and this is just me, I feel like when somebody gets a championship, it doesn't really mean anything. It just kind of, they pick it up. And then there's certain guys that pick it up and they do a lot more with it. And this is what I appreciate about Cody. He's able to reach out to fans and do a lot more than just, oh, say I'm the champion. He's acting like a champion. He's carrying himself like a champion. And I don't know what CM Punk's going to do to show that he's carrying himself as one and not just rub it in your face kind of ordeal, because that's how he was back then. I don't know, because technically he's a babyface right now. I honestly would like to see maybe the more older, grizzled CM Punk be like, I've acted like this in the past. What's the point of acting like that now? Maybe I can still do what I do with Randy as the locker room leaders and still treat people correctly and not act like I'm superior and be able to set the example better. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see story bits like that. I'd like to see people just feel happy around him and not just feel like he's just going to be the same guy he was back then, which I don't think he is. I don't know him personally. Like I said, I'd like to meet him. He seems like a really cool dude to meet in real life. I don't know. I mean, they even say that about John Cena. He would be kind of cool to meet as well. But point being, honestly, I hope we can do a little bit more with not only great title defenses. I'm going to say it right now. We need an AJ Styles title defense match. And if we can get a feud too, that would be even better. That'd be even better. And then eventually have a WrestleMania. And this idea has already been out there. Somebody's already made it. Have CM Punk and LA Knight feud for the belt. And have LA Knight win the belt. And have just, even if it's like a small run for CM Punk. I'd say for a guy who's ready to retire soon, I think that's very deserving. Heck, if he gets another title run, like AJ's got the title belts with Dragon Lee, I honestly hope to see not only maybe one more title run, but maybe not with the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe take away the Intercontinental Championship from Dom. Because hold up. It's Yellow Arrow. There we go. But be able to see something interesting with that. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe not. I don't know. Retire maybe in 2027. I don't know. That's up to him. I'm not the guy out there doing all that stuff. Although I'd like to. I can't. I'm not that physically able yet. But honestly, I hope we get a lot out of it. And to Jey Uso, I doubt he'll be watching this either. I hate the fact that you lost the world title. I love that you won it back in WrestleMania 42. I was rooting for you. You nailed it. It didn't have to be the most technical match, but you seeing your physical prowess out there, be able to powerbomb Gunther, that's awesome. That's awesome. I really think you deserved that title run. You did. And I hope Braun Breaker gets one, but we're not just here to talk about wrestling predictions, but also I'm here to talk about CM Punk, my favorite wrestler. Thank you, Mr. Brooks. I don't know if you'll be watching my stuff. I know you pay attention to a lot of different fan stuff, but if you're able to watch us, thank you for also bringing me back to the world of wrestling as well. And I hope I'll be able to meet you soon. You have a good day, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.